Boom. Man, we got everybody with their cameras off. That's crazy. Except for Alex. Alex, you're doing good, man. It's good to see you. Wow, let's go. Got some confident people in this group.
Well, I was waiting for you to show up. I'm here.
You're right, dude. That's on me, man. I just finished my Spanish lesson and I'm
Not a boy.
trying to
I'm a bit
trying to get
preoccupied.
better, man.
I'll
Trying to
get my
learn.
camera when I can.
You said what?
Bit preoccupied, but I'll get my camera on as soon as I can.
Oh, all good, man. I'm just giving y'all a hard time. All right, let me pull this up real fast. Let me make sure I have everything. Yeah, I'm really excited about tonight. I want to kind of, I asked in the group, kind of what y'all are wanting, and I think that I have a decent idea of kind of where I want to take these calls, um, at least over the next couple weeks. I want to keep it really simple and really help people to be able to get their next step. So like instead of focusing on how do we raise $1 million or how do we, how do we focus on trying to get three, four, or five deals at a time? It's like, let's just focus on getting our first one or our next one. So let me kind of share this. And this is the exact steps that I took to get my first subject to deal. So thought about that long and hard as I was writing this, just kind of breaking down that because it feels like it was so long ago that it was kind of hard to remember some of the steps that I took. But it was kind of cool to relive that. So um, here's one thing I would like to ask in the chat real quick. Does anyone know what this note taker thing is? Someone's taking notes, I guess. They're not even here. That's crazy. All right.
Yeah. Is it an AI thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. That's a sly way to get out of coming to the calls, I guess. All right. No live questions though. That's the important thing. All right. So at this time, when I first got started, trying to learn how to get creative deals, I literally had less than $500 in my bank account. I can remember the feeling, literally sitting on my porch, not knowing how I was going to pay my mortgage payment, which is literally only $700 a month still. So I have a cheap mortgage, but I still was not going to be able to afford it. And it was a super scary time for me. Like I remember looking at my phone and wondering if I should text my mom or my dad or like how I'm gonna like, am I gonna have them Venmo me money? Like it was just a stressful time, and like we work a lot with people that are in foreclosure. And so somewhat I can understand that feeling of being panicked, and not knowing what I was going to do. And so, all I had known to do at that time was really spend money on direct mail, which I was spending $4,000 or $5,000 a month because I had all this money saved from a basketball business that I ran and I had saved for years. And I'm like, oh, I got money to spend. It'll be fine. But what I realized was I spent a lot of money on mail to not really get any results because I didn't know how to talk to people and I didn't know how to negotiate. And I especially didn't know how to talk about things in terms of creative finance and how to get deals that way. So that's kind of what I want to share here. So um, obviously at that time I didn't have a team. I didn't have a CRM. I had my phone, I had a computer, which most of us have here, right? If we're on here. I didn't have a marketing budget. Like I said, I had 500 bucks. I didn't have any experience getting a subject to deal. I had literally heard on YouTube Pace Morby talking about how to get a subject to deal. And so I just took the advice and ran with it, right? So a lot of this is from him as well. I needed something that worked immediately at that time because otherwise I was going to be screwed or I was going to have the embarrassment of asking my parents for tell me pay my mortgage that I signed up for. Like that wasn't a fun feeling either, right? So the cool thing is this is the exact list that I used to get my first subject to deal, made 22,000 on the assignment fee, changed my life and helped me get into real estate full time, which was really cool. And it took me less than 25 days to actually get my first deal. So here's one tool that I paid for starting out. This felt so painful to pay for this because I was like, I didn't have any money. But I paid for PropStream, which is what I use to pull data, especially for these types of lists. And it's what I would recommend. And if any of y'all are interested in PropStream, I do have like a discount code that they gave me like a couple years ago. And it would help me out too, but it would help you. So reach out to me if you're considering getting PropStream, but no pressure on that. You can pull your own data and it's pretty cheap. I think it's like 99 bucks a month or something like that. And you can get like 10,000 records or something like that per month. So you'll have plenty. Um, and the reason why I like it is like you're not going to have any like ads on it. You have to like sort through. You have like full control over all of the lists, and you can like manage them properly on like where you want to put them. And that's basically it for PropStream. It's pretty straightforward. I'm actually posting a video this week on how to pull a good list for sub two deals on there. So I'm going to be posting that so you can actually see that. But here's what I would recommend focusing on. Flat out, I would recommend focusing on expired listings if I was just getting started. What is an expired listing? Essentially, they listed it with an agent to sell it on the market, and the property did not sell for whatever reason, or they decided to take it off the market, right? The listing agreement expired, so they're no longer on the market. The homeowner is now not represented by a real estate agent. Okay, why do expired listings work, especially when you're getting started? Number one, the seller wanted to sell at one point. Right. So you have to keep that in mind. Like that's a good sign. Okay. Maybe they're not motivated to sell at a discount, or maybe they're not motivated to sell creatively. Who knows until you talk to them. But at least they were motivated to sell. Comment down in the chat the number one if you've ever talked to somebody or trying to reach out to people that weren't even interested in selling the property. And you're just calling people up, trying to see if they're interested in selling. Because I've experienced that and it's very painful. So that's one thing about this that's really nice is you filter out a lot of those people. Now, do people change their mind? Yes, right. But that's the first thing. Second thing is they actually had some market feedback, right? So the market either told them, hey, you're overpriced. Hey, the house needs too much work. Like whatever it is. Oh, the inspection came up and there's a foundation issue. It gave them some kind of feedback, right? And cash buyers, they weren't accepting cash buyers offers at that time, or it didn't work for them, which means that maybe we have an opportunity as, creative investors to make an offer that, can still get them cash in their pocket and get them what they need, right? Um, there's some opportunity here, obviously, if you're somebody that's wanting to flip or wholesale just cash deals. Obviously, we don't talk about that a ton in this group, but there is opportunity for that still on the expired listings list. And I think this is where you kind of become a more mature investor, is starting to learn like, okay, like is there a mortgage on this property? Is there not? Do they have enough equity? Do they not? And you start kind of deciding like, okay, all I know is this person's motivated for whatever reason. So how can I help them solve their problem by using these creative tools, which is kind of what this group is about, learning how to do that, right? And not just learning one strategy. So this could be low equity, great for sub two deals. This could be like a high price expectation where they really want a high price. Maybe that's good for sub two. Maybe they don't have a mortgage and maybe they're willing to take payments. One of the best deals I've ever done, we structured a 0% seller finance deal over a 30-year term. We gave them their price, but that's a heck of a deal for us, right? So there's trade-offs here, right? Remember this too. Most of the time, the market rejected the price, and there's a reason most of the time why they're listed that high. Some people are just crazy, and they're like, I'm not going to drop it because I need my number, right? Those people are fine too because you can kind of feed into their ego a little bit and be like, hey, I want to give you your number because some people don't care. Like the lady I worked with that she financed us for 30 years at 0%. That that doesn't make much sense to do on her end. Besides, she really wanted that price, and she wants to be able to go home or go to her friends and say, "Hey, I sold the house for 450 when all these people were offering me 380." You know what I mean? Like sometimes you can feed into that ego a little bit, and some people they just have a mortgage that's simply just too high. After commissions and closing costs, they're going to have to cut a check at closing or close to it, and that's most people can't afford to do that, especially in this market. So you can be of huge value there. Any questions so far on this? I want to go as slow as we can. We'll have some Q&A at the end. Cool.
Nothing so far.
Okay, great. Um, let's kind of move on from this here. My favorite thing about low equity or about expired listings is that like there's no agents involved, so you just get to talk directly with the seller, and it's really nice. And most of the time you're not chasing down people like sometimes like we are that are like in foreclosure or like probate, and it's like really hard to get a hold of them. With expired listings, it's like it's much easier. One thing, step number one after that, I would definitely choose a target market. So it's like, where do you actually want to be? Who do you want to be marketing to, right? Because you could pull expired listings for the entire country, right? But I wouldn't recommend that starting out. So for me, I picked everything within basically an hour to an hour and a half of Nashville. So like Nashville, Clarksville, Murfreesboro, Columbia, all those kind of areas, right? So for you and your market, I think you should probably pick that. And when you pull the list of expired listings, see like how much data you actually get, right? Because if you don't get enough data, then obviously you need to go a little bit wider. And that's okay too, especially if you're going to be wholesaling some of these starting out. So how do you find the numbers for these? That's kind of a big one. People ask, like, how do you pull the numbers? How do you skip trace, right? So there's kind of two options. One, you can go paid, which is like probably batch skip tracing or something like that. There's other options out there. If you're a real estate agent, like Forewarn is pretty good, but you have to do it manually. But there is some good data there. Um, that's a secret sauce for anybody that is an agent. And it's going to be like faster. Like you can usually put a list in there and it'll like skip trace all of it for you. Free option, this is what I use because I was broke as all get out. So I use True People Search. Um, or maybe it's Free People Search. It's one of those. I think it's True People Search now. But they kind of like change it back and forth. But you have to put it in manually. You put it in there and like you'll find a few numbers and it searches their numbers and sometimes it's still pretty accurate. I would love to hear, I don't know y'all's experience if you feel like it's been accurate for you, just as sometimes it's just as accurate as the paid, to be honest. So, and Cindy, I know
Mm.
Cindy, maybe you can share your experience with us a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really good, True People, actually. And I know Amir would agree that we use it sometimes. And we do have data that's being pulled for us from another source, but you can match them up and they're the same, you know?
mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, they're very good.
Yeah. And there's been times too that you've told me where you're like, yeah, the data we got on the paid skip tracing wasn't right. And I looked it up on True People Search and I actually found the
True,
real number.
true.
So it's kind of hit or
And you can
miss.
get neighbors, and sometimes
Yeah.
that's effective. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can get neighbors, you can get relatives. Like
Hmm.
those
For
are some
sure.
big things too. And one of the things we've learned, like here's kind of like a little gold nugget that we've learned as a team, is instead of going wider, sometimes going deeper is better. So instead of saying, like none of these people are answering, maybe call their brother or their sister. Hey, I'm trying to get a hold of so and so. Like I don't know if they were still interested in selling the property. Like it could be that simple. Oh yeah, let me give you their number. Like that's an easy way to get a hold of somebody, right? Especially if you feel like there's a good property that you're really after. As far as like systems, again, like no CRM, just set it up on Google Sheets. Like this is the time where we don't have $100,000 in the bank. We have 1,000 or 500, right? So we're going to use Google Sheets. We're going to use notes, like whatever it is that you want to keep track of. I recommend Google Sheets. Things I would track: name, address, phone numbers, and just some simple notes. Like you don't need to make this thing super complicated. The less we can think about it, the more action we can take, the better we're going to get at these conversations and the more deals that we're going to get. That's as simple as it needs to be. Okay. Here's a quick process. Call each number twice. So I don't know about you, but something I posted about in the community this week was if you're very anxious and you're scared to call people, create the habit of just making the dial. Because sooner or later, if you show up every single day and you make 10 dials or 15 dials or whatever it is that you commit to, and you're not calling them, you're just making the dials, you're gonna be like, dude, I'm wasting my time just dialing these people. I can at least talk to one person, or I can at least text them back, or I can at least leave a voicemail. Like one step closer from where you are now, which may be you're paralyzed in fear, is much better than saying, oh, I'm not gonna call 100 people like Evan and his team do, so I might as well just not do anything. That's a horrible mindset to have. And I'm speaking from experience. Like I have to fight that temptation in a lot of areas of my life. So like you're not the only one that struggles with that fear, right? And if you're not fearful, great. Make sure you call twice. Don't call once and be like, "Oh, thank God they didn't answer. I'm gonna call again." Right? Who's been there? I've been
Don't pick
there.
up, don't pick up, don't pick up.
Yeah, please don't pick up. No, I've been there. I've been there. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like. Okay. Also send a text, which we'll get into like some scripts that you could use for that. Leave a voicemail. Sounds simple, but you'd be surprised people don't do this stuff. Call twice, leave a text, leave a voicemail. And then I would repeat calling every lead in the list 2 to 3 times at least through. So if you get a list of 100 expired listings, right? You're going to call lead number one, didn't answer, going to call them again. Leave a voicemail, send a text. All right. And one easy way to do this too is like you can create shortcuts in your phone, which Cindy and I have like Cindy's smiling. It changed her life
Changed my
and my
life.
life. Where you can create a shortcut in your phone. You can look that up on Google. It's super easy. But you can just like type one letter and then it'll like spit out a whole paragraph for you. That's kind of the easiest way that I would recommend doing it. So you can just get through them really quick. But make sure you call them on day one, as many as you can, and then circle back through the list at least one more time on another day if they don't answer, right? But you don't want to call this list 5 times because as the more you call through a list, like the less likely you are to get a hold of people, right? So then you want to move on to a different list or a different state or maybe refresh it, that kind of thing. Okay. Quick voicemail script. This is kind of how I would phrase it. I would just be like, hey John, this is just Evan. I was just calling because I remember seeing your house was it was listed and I was interested in it at the time, but I realized it looks like it's no longer on the market. I mainly just wanted to see if you were still interested in selling the property or maybe if you decided to go a different direction. If you're still potentially interested in selling, feel free to give me a call. Thanks. Just leave it like super like sweet, simple, like short. That's how I would do it. With your tonality, like make sure that you're being like like friendly and just like casual and just be like, yeah, I was interested in the property. And like, I was just a little confused. I didn't know if you were selling it or if you just like wanted to go a different direction. And you'll find like people will call you back because you left a voicemail and you were just human about it, right? They're human just like you are, by the way. These aren't like aliens that you're calling. They're people, right? So we got to remember that. And when you send a text, if you want to, you can text them something similar to this. What I prefer to do is like build a little curiosity and be like, "Hey John, this is Evan. I just called and left you a voicemail, which should explain the reason for my call. I should be available for the next little bit if you'd like to reach me. Thanks." So I'm kind of acknowledging here, "Hey, I should be available for the next little bit. I'm not just sitting around waiting on your call. Like I got things to do. I'm busy. We got deals we're working on, that kind of thing, right?" But you don't have to explain your voicemail, and hopefully that leads them to that, and then you can kind of just go from there. Now, here's the big thing. What about when they answer the phone? Oh gosh, that's not good. I'm joking. Okay, obviously you want to reference the old listing. Yeah, I saw it was listed, and ask them. Yeah, I just wanted to see, if you were still interested in selling that property. Just keep it super short, right? That. Now, here's the deal. They could just say no. There's going to be some people that are just beat up or they just change their mind for whatever reason. Maybe something happened in their family and they just decide they want to keep the house. Hey, oh, got it. Not a problem. Totally understand. I just wanted you, to know that I was interested in buying it just so you had my number. Feel free to save it. And then, oh yeah, thanks for calling. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, yeah. And I guess just so I have like some context here and like was there something that happened like while it was listed that like I guess made you decide not to sell anymore? Like just be a little like confused about it. Just ask a little question because you would be surprised, and this is a big one here. Some people say, "Oh, none of your business," which that's very unlikely if you're just nice about it,
Mm.
right? And you're just curious about it. That's why it's important to be curious with that tone versus just so I understand. Was there something that happened while you don't want to talk that way. Be friendly, be curious. Like, "Oh, like what was it actually that like made you like not want to sell anymore?" "Oh, Evan, it was just, that kind of thing." Like that's like the relationship you want on the phone, right? And you want them just to tell you, "Oh man, it was so frustrating because the agent like couldn't sell it and honestly like we just owed too much. So I think we're just gonna probably just like wait and sit it out." Wow. We just learned something. Oh, owed too much? Oh yeah, we bought it like 2 years ago and the agent said we were gonna have to cut a check for $20,000. Oh my goodness, $20,000. Why was that? Oh, was it because like the commission and the closing costs? Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, I got it. But like I guess like besides the $20,000, like was there anything else keeping you from selling it? Like if you didn't have to cut a check at the closing table? No, no, we would love to sell it. We've been trying to move for the last year. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, look, it may not make sense for us to be talking right now, but like what I can do is maybe we could talk about maybe some different options to be able to make sure that you can get the house sold, but also not have to cut a check at the closing table. Like, would that help? Oh, what kind of options? You see, now we're in the conversation just because we asked that question. Does everyone see how that could lead there? Like
Absolutely.
realistically?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. What about if they say, yes, I want to sell?
We fall off
Again,
our
for me,
chair.
yeah, we go, oh my gosh, I don't know. Hang up the phone. Yeah, no. So if they say yes, we're gonna say, oh, that's great. And honestly, I'm not even sure if it makes sense for us to be talking or, or for me to even buy the house. Yeah, I would really need to understand a little bit more about like the condition of the house and I guess what you were hoping to get for it, just to see if it even makes sense. Because, you may be better off just keeping it or relisting it with a realtor. For example, and then you ask your question. So why do we do this? Can anyone answer like why
I'm
we're
dying. I
saying,
almost
honestly,
interrupted you again. I think it's pure gold for everybody on here. Evan just is so good at this. He takes it away. He's not like that commission breath. He's not like anxious or, he just literally, I don't even know if it makes sense. We're going to talk. And that really lets people let their guard down to go, oh, okay, I'm not being pressured into anything. He might not even, maybe I want him to buy my house. It's brilliant. It really is.
yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that, and it does help. It lowers the stakes for people. Yeah, honestly, I'm not even sure if it makes sense for us to be versus everyone else that's calling them is, hey, I want to make an offer on your property. I'd love to be able to buy your house. Yeah, I'm not even sure if it makes sense for us to be talking or even for me to buy the house. For me, I would really need to understand a little bit more about like the condition of the house, like compared to like what I guess we were hoping to get for it, just to see if it even made sense. Because you may be better off just keeping it or like listing it with a realtor. Which they don't want to list it with a realtor again. They already did, right?
Hmm.
Oh, we don't want to go that route again, right? And then from there, oh, so like I guess like tell me a little bit about the house. Like just kind of the house, just kind of, what you got going on with it. Kind of just lead into it. Real casual. Oh, like the house is great. It was built in this. Then you ask them about the condition. Any repairs or updates that you feel like the house needs right now? If they say not really, which a lot of people will, no, the house is in good shape. Okay, like what about like the age of the roof, for example? Like how old is that? Oh, it's like 30 years old. Oh, okay. So that could be replaced. And it's leaking. Oh, okay, got it. It's leaking. Okay. HVAC. Oh, we haven't had heat in 3 years. Oh, okay. Yeah, so maybe that needs to be
Great
replaced.
condition.
Right. Yeah. Oh, okay. Got it. The plumbing. Plumbing's great. Okay, cool. And then, ask them, what about the kitchen? The kitchen, like when was the last time that was renovated? Oh, it was like 3 years ago. Okay, so fairly new. Okay. What about the bathrooms? Oh, that was like 15 years ago. Oh, okay. So those probably need to be updated then, at least if we were to, buy the house. Okay, cool. Paint, flooring. Sometimes you have to kind of dig it out of people, and if they start telling you stuff, you can just keep asking them, like, what else is there? Like, is there anything else? Like, what else? And just keep going until they're like, they've exhausted the list. Okay, cool. And I guess like I'll ask like Amir, for example, like, hey, Amir, I guess like when like if you could sell this property, like when were you hoping like to kind of close by?
Well, I would I would need it probably a couple of weeks to just move myself out. That's all.
A couple weeks. So like you're saying like 14 days is like what you would need?
Maybe a little bit more, close to a month. Yeah.
Close to a month. So like 30 days, would that be better for you?
Yeah, yeah, I would say 30 days.
30 days. Okay, so let me look out real quick. So 30 days would be looks like that would be February 4th. It'd be like on a Wednesday. You think that would work for you?
On a Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah, that would
Okay.
work.
And I guess would morning or afternoon work better for a signing?
Uh, I would say afternoon.
Afternoon. Okay, I'll reach out to the title company and see if they're available Wednesday afternoon on the 4th. Now, and we can usually close, in that time period. And if something comes up, like you feel like you need more time or we need to push out closing, like that's totally fine. Like I can work around your timeline. So right there, like why am I saying all that? Number one, I'm trying to like set the stage that like I am serious and I'm professional and like we can get this going and I can reach out to my title company that we work with. Right. But like number two, I'm trying to provide value. Like how do we provide value as investors? Do we pay top dollar? Most likely not. Now, if we're offering creative terms, maybe we're paying more than a cash buyer, of course. But like people don't come to investors to make the most money. So how else do we provide value? Can anyone give me like other ideas? How else do we provide value besides just the flexibility of the closing date? Hello? All right. Can anyone give me any ideas? Don't be shy.
I'm
How
purposely
do,
gonna let someone else answer.
yeah, no, I think that's good. How do we provide value as investors?
Just making it simple, easy,
Making it
convenient.
simple. Yeah, that's
Fix it.
good.
Yeah, I think it's a speed and convenience thing. Like they
Hmm.
can get it done pretty quickly and it's convenient because they don't have to go through showings and a whole bunch of other things that could cause some headaches.
Yeah, yeah, that's really good. Making it simple, making it easy, making it convenient. Anything else?
Just fixing whatever problem they have, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. You don't really know what value you bring until you start talking to them, which is why we don't say, "Oh, I'd be a perfect fit to buy the house." That's why we say, "I'm not even sure if we should be even talking right now," because I don't even know really the situation. Like, I don't even know if I'm a good fit for you, right? So that's important to understand. Like, you want to any moment you can bring value. Oh, when would you like to close? Well, we'd like to close as soon as possible. I mean, we can close in like, 14 days, 21 days or less. Oh, you can close that fast? Yeah, like would that be helpful if we could close that quickly? Oh, yeah, that would be amazing. Oh, okay, got it. Cool. I'm clearly showing value by even just asking that question. That would be helpful, right? Yes, right? One of the next things you're going to ask, and this is kind of where people get a little nervous. For me personally, if I'm going to structure a creative deal, what do I need to know about the financial situation, or at least the house? I need to know the mortgage balance, ideally, right? So, hey, if we were to buy the house, is there a mortgage on it, or is it just free and clear? Oh, there's a mortgage on it. Okay, and like just like roughly, what's the balance on that? Like, I'm just gonna kind of breeze past that, like very casual. I'm not gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna ask you a question you may not like. But like, what's the mortgage balance? Don't ask it that way. Right? Okay, like if we were to buy the house, like approximately like what's the balance on it? Oh, it's like 200,000. Okay, got it. Okay, so 200,000. Okay, cool. And now if they ask you, if you ever get someone that's like, why are you asking that? Or that's none of your business. First off, honestly, now if someone does that to me, I'd probably just be like, all right, we're not a good fit. I'll see you. And I hang up on them. But when you're first getting started, if someone's being difficult like that, hey, that's totally fine. I can look it up on public record. Like if you give me a few minutes, like we can sit here on the phone and I can just look it up real fast. Or you can just give me like a rough ballpark. Like if they want to play that game, you can go that route. Or if you want to be like a little bit nicer, you could just say, "Oh yeah, totally fair." Only reason I ask is because like usually whenever we buy houses, like we kind of talk about things in terms of like how much you're actually going to net at the closing table in your pocket. In order for me to like do that in our agreement, I would just need to have like some kind of rough ballpark. So like approximately what's the balance? And just ask again. And if they're not going to give it to you at that point, then like that's probably not your person anyways. Someone that's motivated is not going to like give you this whole like spiel of why they're not sharing how much they owe on their mortgage. Like you're going to find that out at closing anyways when you get a payoff. All right. So keep that in mind. Does anyone have any questions on that? Most people kind of get stumped there and I guess I get it. They've had like one person tell them not to ask that question. But last thing, the reason why we asked that is because we want to separate the mortgage from their walkaway number, how much they're going to walk away with at closing. Can anybody tell me why we do this versus just talk about price?
It's
Why
probably
do
a
we do
little bit more tangible for them. Like, if I'm going to sell a house for $300,000 and I got 250,000 in equity, versus I'm going to walk away with $50,000 in cash, like that's, kind of a little bit more tangible and probably what they're really thinking about.
Yeah, totally. Totally more tangible. What else?
I think it
I would
also signals that, yeah, I'm trying to like figure out if this works, but also I care about you. I want to see if I can help you and what works for you. I think that
Hmm.
also helps people like put their guard down.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's something I haven't really thought about recently, but I do like that. That's a good point. What else? Can
I,
anyone
I
else
would
think?
I would say I guess as long as they know like I'm getting X amount at the end of the day, that probably creates more options on how you can buy it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Can you explain more what you mean by that to the group?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I would just say for me, if someone said, "Hey, you're gonna get X amount at the end of the day," I mean, the way you buy is not too much of a bother for me. You could do the slew of things, deed of sale,
seller finance, hybrids, regular sub twos. If I'm the seller, as long as I get whatever money I think I'm getting at the end of the day, I'm a lot more open to however it's done because I mean I don't care. I'm still getting my money at the end of the day.
Right. Exactly. So like essentially, just to tie that up in a bow, like what he's saying is like if Shaw, for example, says I want $50,000. Now, the next question is, can I afford to pay that as the investor
Right.
based off of the price, based off maybe what we think the interest rate is, that kind of stuff, right? But also, can we break that up into payments? Would he be willing to, take $25,000 at closing and then the remaining 25,000 set up in some kind of payments over the next 12, 24, 36 months? You see what I'm saying? And that's kind of what Jason's saying is like you can break it up in different ways once you know their actual number that they're wanting to at least walk away with in their head, right? It also gives you something to like you said, like Alex, like that's really tangible. So if I just say a $300,000 purchase price, to them that may be kind of hard to understand like really what they're going to walk with versus if they say $50,000, then we have some kind of like negotiation where like later on I can say, "Hey, I want to get you the $50,000 that you're wanting that you said you needed for XYZ. But in order for me to do it, I'm going to have to do it like this creatively." So we're starting to kind of play that game, okay? Now, here's the next thing here too. Like if someone says a really high number, how do we get them down? How do we get that number down if we need to? Does anyone have any thoughts on that? Because we could just make an offer and we could just say, "Oh, like I'll give you $5,000. I know you're wanting 50, but I'll give you five." Right? But that's probably not going to go very well.
Um,
Right? So what's another way that we can kind of negotiate that down?
I would ask, how do they get that number?
Yeah, that's a very valid question. Yeah, where is that number coming from?
'Cause sometimes it's like very visual thinking for people. It's like, oh,
Hmm.
like there was a property here close to where I live, and they put it like I remember like they put it on the market for 660, and I
Hmm.
was like, no. And it's been on the market for more than 6 months, and now they got it to like less than 500,000 now.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
some people was like, oh, have you look at like other comps? So I mean, of course, there's a professional way to tell them is like, hey, this is very like wishful.
totally, totally. Yeah. Any other thoughts on that? That's really good. How do we get them down?
We wait them out.
Can you tell me more what you mean?
So when you're asking somebody what, how much they want for their home,
Hmm.
they tell you, and just like, allow decent pause,
Hmm.
and sometimes they might change their mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Being able to kind of sit there, right? Like if someone says, "I want $50,000," so you want 50,000. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. You'd be
Hmm.
surprised the amount of people that would just be like, "Well, I mean, but like I could probably do like 30 or 35." Right? You have to get them to actually like realize what they just said. Some people just say stuff just trying to shoot high for the moon, right? Because they think you're going to lowball them. And that's not what you're here to do. You're here to be like ethical and like work with them and get them what they need for the house. But like also we can't pay top dollar, right? And then what are some other things? Hey, I mean, and you kind of give them something, right? It's like, hey, we are, we can close in 3 weeks, but like at 35,000, I just think that's going to be really tough. Like, is there any flexibility on 35,000? Or is that the best you can do? Is that the least you would take? That kind of thing, right? And you slowly kind of get this number down to a reasonable number, right? Now, once you have a number in mind that you feel like is reasonable, let's say they come down to 20,000, then you can structure it how you need to. Do we need to structure a subject to deal? Is it owned free and clear and it's just straight seller finance? Or do they have a mortgage plus they have some, you know, big equity where you're going to take the mortgage over, you're going to take it subject to, and then you're going to sell or finance a portion of their equity over time in payments. That's what a hybrid is, right? It's like you're utilizing both of those strategies in one. Now, once you get the deal, this is where you get it under contract. And if you have questions, you're like, "Hey, I think I have a deal and I don't know what to do." Like feel free to shoot me a message in Slack. Like that's why we have this community, right? But get under contract and then decide, am I going to raise some money? Am I going to use my own? At that point, I'm going to send it to title, right? The title company. If you need a good title company, let me know. I have a great one. And then from there, either A, you buy it yourself, or B, you start trying to wholesale it, wholesale the contract and make a fee, right? You could wholesale it to buyers that you know, which may be me or someone in this group, which I hope like as this group grows and gets bigger and like we have better buyers, like that would be the goal. But for now, maybe it's even just posted on Facebook, right? And I can give you those groups, like some great groups to post in. Pace Morby Facebook group is probably like the best one. So
Well,
like big takeaways here. Yeah.
can I get a quick update?
Yeah, what's up?
As of the new year, they actually stopped doing the posting for the Pace Mobile group. They have a website now for that, but like for deals, they
Really?
stopped doing the Facebook group posting. Yeah,
That's really good to know. Yeah, because I
Mhm.
looked at it like last week and like saw it was still there. So I guess they just changed it.
Yeah.
So
They, they did a whole like thing in October telling everyone, "Hey, we're changing this website," and as of
Mhm.
January 1st, they officially did that.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks for that. Well, maybe you can, I don't know if you can put that in the chat, Jason, but that'd be really good to like put that website here just so everyone has it.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. So, at the end of the day, like you don't need a ton of money for this, at least getting started. You don't need some big team. You don't need like fancy systems. I wanted to simplify this into one list because there's 100 lists you could call, right? So for me telling you the top 10 lists, that doesn't really like help you because you're just going to be like, oh, but what about like this? Which one should I do? This one or that one? I remember like those days where I would like overthink every single list. Once you realize that it really, really does not matter. As long as you're contacting someone that is likely to have some kind of motivation, it's not like, oh, divorce is so much better than expired. It's like it's a numbers game and also a skills game. How good are you actually talking on the phone? Right. And the only way you build that is by what? Doing it and doing
Mhm.
it poorly. So just expect yourself to kind of do it poorly. And what you'll realize is you'll do it better than what you thought you were going to do most of the time. I don't know if anyone else can agree with that, but for me, the times that I've been super nervous and I got on the phone, I got off, I'm like, you know what? I did a little bit better than I thought I would have at least. That's good. Or at least I learned something. Alex, I don't know if you've had that experience, but I know when we first started talking, it was like very scary to get on the phone, But like I think over time as you've done it more, you realize like, oh, okay, like this isn't as bad as what I thought. Have you had that experience or something different? Alex Selner?
Yeah, I mean, especially when I was like just starting out, yeah, I was like
Yeah.
sweating bullets, making calls and not really sure what I was going to say, and just
Yeah.
found over time I've kind of gotten a little bit more just steady in terms of like, okay, I know what I'm going to say. Um, so like, if somebody picks up the phone, I can go through my spiel, and just try to have as many good conversations as I can. So
Yeah.
yeah, just practice makes better.
That's right. Cool. All right. Now I want to open it up just for some Q&A. Any questions that y'all have on this? Specifically, let's start with that. And then if there's, any other questions or deal review, I'll stay a little bit longer tonight just to be able to answer those questions. So cool.
I
Any
had something to
questions?
share.
Yeah.
Amir turned me on to it, but I was paying for PropStream, and now I don't because you can go to PropWire and it's free, and the information is pretty good compared to PropStream, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody
Yeah.
doesn't want to spend 100 and something a month, you could go to PropWire.
Yes. Yeah. PropWire has some good stuff too. I agree. Good feedback.
Hey, you mentioned something that triggered a question for me. Like, when did you decide to, as opposed to wholesaling, hey, this is a property that I actually want to buy for myself and invest that way as opposed to wholesaling? Like, what's that trigger for you? Is it capital? Okay, I have this much in the bank, or is it something else?
Mm-hmm. Um, that's a good question. Have you thought about that for yourself? Like, do you have any kind of like quick triggers for yourself even like that you've thought about?
Well, I was thinking like, okay, do I want to, hold $100,000 just for expenses, just in case something happens to the property? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking through that from my perspective of like, should I have something like a certain amount in the bank where I feel comfortable that if something happened to the property, I
Yeah.
have those reserves, and now I'm able to, handle any issues that may arise. So that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you definitely want to have enough reserves for sure. I mean, but like, let's say you have enough money to do it, right? And you're like,
Mhm.
okay, I could do it. Then it's like, how do I decide if I actually want to do it on this property? Is that kind of the
Yeah.
question? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I number one, I would look at like location, obviously, especially if it's going to be a rental and not like an owner finance deal. If it's going to be a rental, like I want it to be in a good location, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest thing for me is that like where is
Oh,
it? And then also ideally is there some kind of equity position, right? Ideally.
yeah.
And the third thing would be like is there a favorable interest rate?
Yeah.
And then the fourth thing as a rental would also be like is it minimal like repairs? Because if it
Yeah.
needs 80 grand in repairs, like you're gonna have to sink that money into it on a creative deal and you're not gonna be able to get it back out unless you refinance, which totally ruins the whole reason why you took it sub two in the first place was the good terms.
Yeah. Fair
Hopefully
enough.
that answers your question, but that's what I
Yeah,
would.
it does. Yeah, it does. I
Yeah,
was just curious of what your approach is. I appreciate
yeah,
that.
that's really good. Yeah. What else? Mohammed, what's going on?
Okay, I have two questions. So the first
Yeah.
one, we're talking about the tools for agent to use skip tracing. I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, that's a batch skip tracing, or if you want a free version, which is a little more manual labor, it would be like true people search or free people search.
I guess he's referring to forward.
Oh, yeah, forewarn.
For one, okay.
Yeah,
And
forewarn.
when let's say you wholesale is subject to like an investor, are you still like between the communication between the investor and the seller, like for the whole time of the subject to deal, or like they communicate if something happened together later?
That's a good question. So for me, if I'm wholesaling a deal where I'm not taking ownership and then like owner financing it, so I'm not wrapping it, for example, then I'm not going to be in the middle of the deal. Unless for some reason they need me or some emergency comes up and they don't know how to handle it themselves, then I'll step in. Just because I feel like that's the right thing to do. Right? Like I had that happen recently where the seller didn't know what to do, the buyer didn't really know what to do, and so I stepped in and like helped give some advice and guidance on that. But most of that's not my responsibility at that point, right?
Okay,
What I feel like my responsibility is as the wholesaler, if I'm going to be wholesaling these, is to be fully transparent about what you're doing. Hey, I'm not going to be the buyer, but I can help you find someone qualified to take over the payments, right? So you're clearly saying I'm not the buyer, I'm not the one that you're taking the risk with, right? So sellers like they know they know they're taking a risk by doing this,
okay,
right? And I think it's important that you outline what that is, right? And also like how they could be protected. But there is some risk still there, and you need to be honest with that, right? But number two is like actually making sure that you don't just take like any buyer that comes to you and offers you a fee. Like I've had deals where I had buyers offer me like 10, 15 grand for a deal. And I said no, ended up not doing the deal just because I was like, I don't like this person. I don't trust them. They seem sketchy to me. And like some people may call me stupid for that, but like my name and reputation and like how I feel about myself when I go to bed at night is not worth 10, $15,000.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude. Great question. That's a really good question. What else we got? Anything else?
I had a kind of like a follow-up question. When we were talking about getting the seller's price down,
Hmm.
a lot of times as investors, we're going to be buying things as is. And let's say, to use the example from earlier, it's got a 30-year-old leaky roof. Um, how would you go about bringing that up with a seller?
Before you have it under contract or after?
Like while you're doing, price negotiation.
Got it. So like you're talking about it, right? And they're telling you the condition, and you're saying like once they've told you about the roof, what do you say then?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you just asked them like, what's the condition of the house? Oh, it's great. And then they ask follow-up questions and find out about the roof. And then they've
Hmm.
agreed to sell, and they say they want their $50,000, and you're knowing okay, I'm not going to be able to pay that amount of money and fix the roof. So,
Mhm.
how would you bring that up?
Yeah, I would say something like, well, I mean, at $50,000, I just don't see how I could make that work. It's just not possible for me. But like, I mean, with us taking care of the roof, like, is that really the best that you would be able to do? I would just
Right
ask
on.
it that way.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
just got to be blunt and simple about it.
Yeah, just keep it simple. I mean, they know it's a problem,
Yeah.
right? So that's a good question though. And that's kind of a nice little full circle moment. It's like you ask the condition, and then later on you use that to be able to negotiate if you need to. Hey, we're
Hmm.
gonna have to do the roof, and we're also going to have to do new flooring.
Mhm.
Right? Who knows underneath that if you got to replace the subfloor? I don't know. You had mentioned there's some kind of leak, right? Oh yeah. So I mean, we have to be really conservative, and I understand and appreciate you wanting $50,000. I just can't afford to pay that. So like, really, like at the end of the day, like, what do you actually need in the closing to get this done? And you just like bring it back. Yeah, great question.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude, we need to get coffee again soon, man.
I agree.
Shoot
I'll
me a
text you
text.
after.
I'd love to. Yeah, that'd be fun. Anything else? Rudy, your background's sick, bro.
Oh, thanks, dude. It's my new office.
That's awesome.
Got an orange monkey lamp.
Let's go, dude. A monkey lamp?
Yeah, you can't see it, but there's monkeys and bamboo.
Dude, that's amazing. Let's
Yeah.
go. How'd you find that, Jim? Did you find that in like a house that you bought? One of
No, I should have. Facebook
the-
Marketplace. I found a lamp dealer.
that's amazing.
Mix and match parts so I had the right lamp.
It's good to see
Because
you, man.
do you too, dude? You too. Yeah, I've got unrelated to exactly what you're saying, but not unrelated to creative financing question if you're open to
Yeah,
it. A
yeah,
little more jargony and I wouldn't say less beginnery because I'm clearly asking the question, so I don't know the answer, but um
yeah.
this is like a sub two. I don't. What do you guys call this? If it's a sub two, it's a hybrid, but they're not. There's no. This question actually doesn't matter, but I'm just curious. Like it's the equity's getting paid out at a balloon period, but it's not getting paid out. It's just taking over the mortgage, and then additional equity is getting paid out after the balloon. Would you just call that
Yeah,
a hybrid?
yeah, yeah. Because it's still seller finance. It's just the term is not in payments. The term is just a balloon.
Okay, yeah. But it's with an agent, of course, which I love. Getting myself wrapped up with agent deals that are so much fun.
Me too. We've had a few of those, man.
And I closed this. I closed the deal with this agent before, but that was like a straight up seller finance one, and this didn't come up. And you helped me with a sub two before, and I guess it didn't come up. But the agent's like trying to push me to a contract for deed
Mm,
or to get a trust. And I guess I thought that when we did a sub two, we just get the deed and they keep the note. And then if due on sale gets called, either the buyer figures it out, or I call you again, or I call Caleb. I don't know.
yeah.
But the agent's trying to push me to one or the other, but I'm not familiar with either. And I'm like, well, I don't think we've got a contract for D, dude, but chill out. Let me figure this out.
Yeah. No, that's a good question. I would if you have to, I would just go the trust route and I would make them pay for the trust.
Well, okay, well, so I mean, A, what does that mean? And B, what would it cost? But C, I mean, is it normally that you would just the buyer would get the deed and the seller would keep the note and then that's fine enough?
hmm
Or does the trust
So
really protect you from due on sale?
there's a lot there. So trust like trust are pretty good for limiting visibility, like when it comes to seeing, really like who's on title. Because like from my experience and from what I know, and if someone in the group is more experienced with trust, then please chime in. But essentially, if they were to look up on title, like who's the owner, it would say, this trust, right? And so they don't know that essentially what you would be doing is you would become the beneficiary of the trust, which would be Rudy, for example, or whoever his buyer is, right? And so, but when you look it up on title, you can't see who is the beneficiary of the trust. So they have a hard time kind of saying like, oh, was this transferred to some random person or is this just like a trust that the family decided to put it in? So the idea behind it is solid. Do loans still get called due when you set it up in a trust? Absolutely. And they can do that, and I've seen that happen. So if you're gonna say it never happens, that's not true. But does it help? I think so. It
And
could.
is that what you do? I mean, or do you normally just take
I
the
don't.
deed?
I don't. I take the deed, I put it into an LL, I buy it in an LLC. And I don't really worry about it until it comes up.
So that's still normal, right? I mean,
Yeah.
A, because I don't exactly, well, not exactly, I don't have a buyer in place yet. I think we
Mhm.
can sell it. I hope we can sell it.
Yeah. Where's it
But
at?
it's off of Trinity on Harmony. It has an STR permit. And the monthly note is 2,800 a month.
Does it have like a is there like a A and a B? Like is there like a property right next to it? Like is like a shared driveway?
I mean, it's like a townhome community. I think they're all Airbnbs or all
Okay.
STR
But
approved.
I talked to one the other day and I just wondered if it's the same one. Anyways.
It might be. Someone else had it under contract. I've got slightly better terms than they did,
Oh, okay.
but
It wouldn't be that then because I've got coffee with the seller. So I was like,
oh,
and he
okay,
didn't
yeah.
have it under contract. So okay, cool.
So yeah, they just left that contract, and then we're about to sign another one, and that's why I ask, is the agent wants it to be sort of worked out now, and I guess if the buyer wanted in trust, we could do that, but I guess now I'm just going to tell them, hey, look, we'll just take over the deed, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely wouldn't do contract for deed. You're right about that.
Well, that's bad news, right? That basically means that the seller they never really sold. The seller still owns it.
With a contract for deed.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it's basically you've probably heard this, but I just use the example of like when you purchase a car, same thing. Like if you have a loan on it or whatever and you're paying it, like they don't give you full title. They don't actually like mail you the title until you actually pay it off.
right.
But you're still like the owner of the car.
Oh, okay.
Like you can still paint the car a different color if you wanted to. You know what I mean? Like you just don't have the actual title and it doesn't show as like your name. So it's the same thing. A contract for deed, like the idea is like you can control the asset, you can rent it out, you can paint the house, you can do renovations, you can do whatever you want with it because like you control and essentially own the house, but you're not on title. And so like the risk is usually like what if the seller gets in a car accident and gets in a lawsuit and like there's liens or judgments attached to the property because they're on title. Like how do you fight that? Like those are kind of the concerns.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I assumed that a buyer would be afraid of that, so I'm going to tell them let's just do the deed, which is what I thought that I did on the other sub two I did that you helped me
yeah,
do the intro with the seller.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'd
That's
assume that the risks for due on sale, hopefully the buyer is aware of. If not, I can talk to them about it, but it wouldn't necessarily be that much different if it's a trust or not.
yeah. Send me the details, dude. I'd like to look at it.
Yeah, I'll text it to you.
Yeah,
For sure. I mean,
that'd be cool.
I have not started marketing anything like that yet, and just want to get it
Cool.
done. So
Yeah, and like worst comes to worst, like I would just say that it's like, hey, we always do it this way because like the trust it costs money, and then also it's just like it makes things much more complicated, and it's like it doesn't need to be that way, and it's like worst case, like if something comes up but the bank doesn't like it, then we'll put it into a trust. Like it's
hmm
not a big deal. Like that's just what I say. And if they really want to fight it and it's like gonna kill the deal, then I would go ahead and just do the trust if like that's what it comes to. It's
right.
not the end of the world. And creative TC can like walk you through that and stuff. They do it pretty easily.
Cool, dude. Well, I appreciate it. And,
Yeah.
I appreciate this group. I mean, I moved to Vegas a couple months ago and, I mean, I'm still focused on cash deals mostly, but, it feels, less like I'm just in some random office in Vegas right now. So,
Oh, dude, I'm really glad to hear that, man. That's what I want it to be. So we need to catch up again soon.
yeah, dude. Appreciate you.
Cool, brother. All right, you too, man.
I actually had something related to the contract for deed.
Yeah.
I can actually give a little bit of my experience. I actually own a property. It's in Alabama. I bought contract for deed, and actually one of the complications I went through is it was under Section 8, and when they wanted to transfer the payments from their previous owner to me, we ran into some complications because when they went to look for who owns the property, it still showed the previous people. So then we had
Mm,
the whole thing about like I had basically had to beg it so like I'm property management, and we had to do the whole complicated thing to eventually get it done. That's just kind
yeah.
of one of the pages I went through again
Mm,
for contract with Dave, if that makes any sense.
yeah. That's really good. And like getting loans or anything like that would be much more difficult.
If there are any complications where they need to show you own it, that's where you're gonna have problems. Is what I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like almost it's just a contract for deed is probably a good tool for like when would you use that?
Maybe if you're
Like
gonna live there, I guess.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Or maybe if you're doing like some kind of like novation or something. I feel like that would be better than a novation. Like, because you have more security because you're at least, because here's the thing with a contract for deed, we're getting in the weeds here, but with a contract for deed, like you can file that. It's a like a memorandum, basically a contract for deed. So you can file that and that'll be on record. So like if they pull it up, like they will see that, which will cloud title from the actual person on title being able to sell it without your permission because they can't sell it. You're the
Yeah,
owner as the contract for deed, but you're selling title. So it's tricky, man. Yeah, good questions though and good feedback. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you saying that.
no
Well, I do
problem, no problem.
appreciate you diving into it though, because it maybe tell me this is your experience because it maybe it's just this one agent because it definitely happened at least twice, but maybe the other time was with the same agent. But it seems like the seller or slash sellers, or maybe just this one agent is like more comfortable with a contract for deed. I mean, is that something you've seen? Because it seems like they feel protected that way.
Mhm.
So is it something that you see out that we need to combat out there with
Mm.
sellers?
Yeah. Um, I don't ever really get that, but it's because I don't really talk with agents anymore. So I don't know what's being pushed out there now. And maybe that is something they're teaching agents, like at brokerages, like, hey, if you get a sub two offer, here's what you do instead. Like that could totally be a thing.
Hmm.
Agents love to ruin everything. Sorry if there's an agent here, but not
Yeah.
really. But I love my agents that I work with, but some of them are not great.
Oh no. This agent called me to try to close this deal because we did another seller finance, but he's still
Okay.
making it complicated. I'm like, dude, can you get
Yeah,
out of the way? You called
there
me.
you go. That's their
I didn't call you
job.
for this deal. You called me for this deal, which I appreciate, but still, like, can we do it or not?
That's their job. List it and, if they don't understand it, make it more difficult. But there's amazing agents as well. Isabel is one of them. She's in here and she's amazing. I don't know if anyone else is an agent here, but anyways. So that's kind of yeah, I think that it probably is something that's coming up more. Um and I think it's just of course it makes them feel better because they're still like their name is still on title. So yeah. Let's move on. Next question. Anything else? These are really solid. Definitely deep diving for sure.
I have another question, a little unrelated. So when I look up like a property and it's not listed on there, like a person's name is the LLC,
Hmm.
what is the best way for me to reach out to the person in charge of that? I know it's a little, I don't have a lot of experience with that. It gets a little tricky for me when it's like LLC. It's like, how do I find like the right person to call if it's like off market now? Like, how do you approach that?
You're saying if you look up the property and you see there's an LLC, how do you find who's the owner of the LLC?
Yeah, like talking, like calling to talk to the right person about like the creative finance and stuff. Because like I have like one property that I'm like thinking about, and
Hmm.
it's under LLC name, and it's off market. So I'm just like trying to figure out how to like get in touch with the right person about like creative financing for that property.
Oh, like just
Right.
to be able to talk to the owner.
Yeah.
Got it.
Can I have
Uh,
some insight on it, actually?
sure. Yeah, yeah, go for it.
So, depending on the state where the LLC is based out of, if it's not like one of those states like Wyoming or I think it's Denver that hide the owner, you
Just
can
here.
go on the property records for the state, find the LLC, and it'll tell you who the registered owner is. It'll tell you their name and like the registered address. And then
Okay.
once you have the address, you can just skip trace that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've done that. Like, I'm looking for properties in Tennessee, and I don't know if you know the answer to this, but when I look, I just see like the agent that was like kind of like to form the LLC. I haven't been able to like find like information about the owner.
Look at what Rudy just posted in the chat. I would
Hmm.
try some of those out. Investor base, open corporates. I have used open corporates before.
Okay.
And Visipedia. Never heard of that. But yeah, investor base and open corporates. I've used those and they're solid. You can look at that up and you'll find it. But Jason also just gave you a kind of more manual way to do it.
Yeah.
I'll look into that. Thanks.
Yeah, man. Yeah, let me know if it works for you. If not, then we'll keep looking for something for you.
I will. Thanks.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. Anything else? Maybe we got time for a couple more questions. Sometimes a registration is a lawyer, but often a registered agent could be the seller. Yeah, that's true. Good point. Anything else? Final questions.
I'm good.
Cool, man.
Um, you said you had a link to your PropWire or PropStream?
Yeah, yeah. Are you already on PropStream?
I don't remember. Probably like a year or two ago, to be honest. I don't remember at all.
Okay. If you want to get back on it, would you mind DMing me on in the school community and I'll just send it to you?
I think I did already. Let me double check.
Okay. If not, maybe do it again. And just say, can you send me the PropStream link? That'd be great, man. Appreciate it. Cool. Really appreciate y'all showing up tonight and being here, asking some great questions.
Thanks
I
for
was
having us.
absolutely, yeah. I enjoy hanging with y'all and um, trying to come up with ways for y'all to be able to get your next deals. And here's kind of my encouragement before everyone leaves is like, if you're just getting started and you want to get your first deal, and maybe this is something that you've been thinking about for a long time, or maybe you go to bed at night and you beat yourself up because you didn't make calls again today. Like, don't let that be the rest of this year. Like, don't let that be 2026. All right. So, like, if you feel like your identity is like, I'm a person that's scared to make calls, maybe add to that sentence. I'm a person that's scared to make calls, but I do it anyways.
Hmm.
I'm a person that's scared to make calls, but I'm calling tomorrow morning. Like, that doesn't have to be you the rest of 2026. And I'm not saying that's everybody here, but I'm assuming it's the majority of people, right? Because I've been there myself and I know what that feels like. And it's not fun. It's much more fun to push through it and get to the end of it to where you look back in 2 years and I'm so happy. I'm thankful that I made all those calls where I stumbled on my words and I still do. Like that doesn't change. What changes is you just like start to care less and you start to realize that the only thing like keeping you from where you are to where you want to be is your fear most of the time. Most of the time it's not even not knowing what to do. That's the scary part. Most of us know at least an inkling of like what to do.
Yep.
Does anyone in here feel like they don't know what to do now if they want to get their first deal? At least a next step to take. Everyone knows a next step to take. So that's why the community is here. And that's why I want to keep growing this thing and keep it small at the same time where we can have these conversations and you can message me or someone in the group and say, "Hey, I did my skip tracing, like Shaw, for example. I found the LLC, I found the owner of the LLC, I found their number, I talked to them, and they said they want a good price, but they're scared to do sub two. Can you help me with this objection?" Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll send you a way to handle that objection. Or hey, we can hop on the phone together and partner. Whatever it is. Like that's what this community is for. So that's my encouragement this week. Start tomorrow. Start tomorrow. Make one call tomorrow. Make a commitment to yourself. One call. Can everyone do that? All right.
Sir.
All right, cool. I want to hear from y'all this week. I'll talk to you soon. I'll see y'all next week.
Yeah.
Happy New
Thanks,
Year.
Seth.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Take
See you in a minute.
care.